along with the probable theory wherever it is necessary. Need not study especially about cables. So the first question is the velocity of traveling wave through the cable of relative permittivity 36 is. See, velocity of traveling wave. What is the traveling wave? It can be a current wave or a voltage wave, I or V. Okay. So current basically travels at a light speed, isn't it? That thing you might have heard or you might already studied this concept. And what is that light speed equal to 3 into 10 power 8 meters per second. Okay. So when you are considering that this particular wave is traveling through a cable, so cable is not like an ordinary conductor, therefore the speed, the wave speed in cable is equal to 3 into 10 power 8 divided by under root relative permittivity. That means higher the relative permittivity, lesser will be the speed of the cable. Understood? If relative permittivity is more means the capacitive reactance of the cable is also more, that is indirectly means. Okay, so this is one relation that you can keep in mind. So anyhow we will find out the answer 3 into 10 power 8 divided by under root relative permittivity is 36 over here, that is 3 by 6 into 10 power 8. This is nothing but 1 by 2 or 0.5. So option C, 0.5 into 10 power 8 meters per second. A single core cable is designed to work for a single phase system with a peak voltage of 220 kV. Maximum permissible stress is not to exceed 20 kV per mm for economical size. Overall core diameter is. See, dielectric stress or permissible stress in the dielectric. So this is nothing but dielectric stress. Dielectric stress is nothing but how much voltage you are applying per mm to break that insulator. Dielectric means where do you find dielectric is a property of insulator, isn't it? To oppose the flow of electrons. Let us say for 1 mm gap of dielectric, if you apply 20 kV of voltage, that insulation will break down and it will be converted into conductor and starts conducting current. That is what dielectric stress means. It is also called as, in other words, potential gradient. Potential gradient. Okay, whose units are volts per meter. Okay, potential gradient, and it is denoted by letter G. So when you look at a cable, the cable has got a sheath, and in the center you have the core. If you look at the construction of the cable, this is the main conductor. This is the main conductor. Above the conductor you have a small layer of insulation. There is a thickness of insulation. Okay, so above this is the core or conductor, and this is the insulation, and above insulation there will be sheath. So if you see how the potential gradient will be varying from the center of the core to up to the sheath, or I can say up to the total insulation thickness. So if I make a graph like this, up to the radius of the conductor, the potential gradient value will remain the same. But once you leave the conductor, the potential gradient value slowly decreases in this way. Okay, you have to remember this one. So the potential gradient, that means the power of the voltage to break down the insulator, keeps on decreasing as you move away from the conductor. If you see, where do you have the maximum potential stress or potential gradient, G max? You will have maximum at which point? At radius of the conductor, where R is the radius of the conductor. If you see, this is the, if you assume this is the conductor or core, if small r is the radius of the conductor, around the conductor you have some layer of insulation. From the center of the conductor to up to the total insulation thickness, it is capital R. So you are having maximum stress at the surface of the conductor. Okay, surface of conductor. And where are you having minimum stress? Minimum stress will be at sheath, or the radius is capital R. This is where the sheath will be starting. Okay, at the end of the insulation, at sheath or end of insulation. So there you will have minimum potential stress. Okay, and basically the potential stress is governed by this equation, where potential stress is equal to voltage by X natural log capital R by small r. Okay, where X is the distance from center. Distance from center. If I want to write what is G max, G max means simply the voltage across the cable divided by what is X for G max, that means distance from the center is small r, natural log capital R by R. Similarly, minimum potential gradient can be written as V by capital R natural log R by R. So if you take the ratio of maximum potential gradient divided by minimum potential stress will be equal to what? It will be equal to capital R by small r. You can keep these points also in mind. Okay, just note down, these all are important points. Okay, now there is a condition for having economical size of the cable. For the economical size of cable, that means the cable size to be economical, it is desired that the ratio of R by R must be equal to E, which is nothing but 2.17, isn't it? 2.713, 2.712, like this. This is very important point to be noted down for MCQs. Okay, for economical size of the cable, when the size of the cable is economical, you say when the ratio of this total radius R to radius of the core is equal to E. Understood? So now in this question, what he is asking, he is telling that a single phase system is having a peak voltage of 220 kV. Always insulation is designed for peak voltages, so you got the voltage as 220 kV of the system. Understood? Suppose he has given you the rated voltage. Let us say a single phase system is having a 100 kV normal voltage. That means you have to convert this voltage into peak value. How do you convert this voltage into peak value? Into root 2, then you will get 141.4 kV as the peak value. So based on this peak value, you have to start working out. Okay, because insulation is always designed for peak values. Let us say he is given the three-phase system. The three-phase system is having 11 kV system voltage. Then you have to convert this 11 kV is what? VL, line voltage, convert into phase voltage. So you have to take 11 kV by root 3. Once you got phase voltage, again you have to convert phase voltage max value. So 11 by root 3 into root 2, and then proceed with the formula. Now you got the voltage as 220, and he has given you the maximum potential stress as per the question as how much. He has given that maximum permissible stress in the dielectric is not to exceed 20 kV per mm. So G max is equal to 20 kV per mm is given. Now he is asking you for economical size overall core diameter of the cable is telling. That means he is asking you to find out the diameter of the core. What is the diameter of the core? He is asking diameter of core. Diameter of core is nothing but 2 times of r, where r is the radius of the core, isn't it? So if you do this, you will find out the diameter of the core where economical size of the cable is occurring. So as we know, G max, that means maximum potential stress, can be given by V by where it will occur at the radius, isn't it? Natural log R by R. Now as I told you, for economical size of the cable, R by R ratio will be equal to E. Suppose if I take R by R is equal to E, natural log EV, ln E will be equal to 1, isn't it? So this whole term will become equal to 1. What is the maximum potential stress as per the given in the question? 20 kV per mm is equal to voltage is how much? 220 kV divided by R. So from this you can find out the value of R. R will be equal to how much? 220 by 20 is equal to 11 mm. Okay. If R is 11 mm, what is the diameter? 2 into 11 is equal to 22 mm. So 22 mm is the answer. Answer D is the answer for this question. Next concept is insulation resistance of a single core cable is 200 mega ohms per kilometer. Insulation resistance for 5 kilometers. For 1 kilometer 200 mega ohms means for 5 kilometers. So what is the insulation resistance? So you might think that okay, resistance is directly proportional to length, but no, this is insulation resistance of a cable. The insulation resistance of a cable is given by the expression rho by 2 pi L into natural log R by R, mega ohms per kilometer. Okay, this is the formula for insulation resistance. So from the formula of insulation resistance, you can say that insulation resistance is inversely proportional to length. That means higher the length, lesser will be the insulation resistance. Now you see, he says that for 1 kilometer, what is insulation resistance? 200 mega ohms. So for 5 kilometers, that means you are increasing the length by 5 kilometers. What should be the insulation resistance? It should decrease by 5 kilometers. So 200 by 5 mega ohms will make you 40 mega ohms, isn't it? Option A is the 40 mega ohms answer. In a 3-core cable, capacitance between two conductors with a sheath earthed is 1 microfarad. Capacitance per phase in microfarad. Answer is 6 microfarad. So let me explain you what is the concept behind this. See, now he says that 3-core cable will be there. So how will the 3-core cable construction will be there? Assuming that this 3-core cable is a belted type cable, okay? Belted type cable. So basically what is belted type cable? Belted type cable will be used up to 22 kV. Okay, we write down this point. Belted type cables can be used up to 22 kV. So what will be there in belted type cable means, let us say it is a 3-core cable. That means you will have 3 conductors. Conductor 1, conductor 2 and conductor 3. So there are 3 conductors. So each conductor will have separate insulation. So let me draw the insulation of each conductor with this red color pen. So this conductor 1 is having its own separate insulation. Conductor 2 is also having its own separate insulation. Conductor 3 also has got its own separate insulation. Understood? Each conductor is having its own separate insulation. Okay. Now the combination of these 3 insulated cores will have one overall insulation also, one other overall insulation. Understood? This is called as belted type cables. Belted type cables. Now, what is important to study in this kind of problems is the capacitance calculation. Now you see, let us say this dot is one conductor, this is another conductor, this is another conductor. Each conductor is separated by some insulation, isn't it? Insulation is a dielectric material. That means between conductor to conductor there will be potential difference. Then there will be capacitance also, because any insulating material separated by some potential difference becomes a capacitor, isn't it? So there will be some capacitance between the conductors also in a cable. So let us say the capacitance between the conductors is Cc, Cc, Cc. Assuming that the insulation material is same and distance between the conductors is same, all the 3 Cc's will be the same. Okay, capacitance between the conductor. Now this is the overall insulator, and above insulation you will have a sheath. Generally a sheath may be a metallic. That means metallic means it is also having some potential. Let us say it is having some potential, we don't know what potential, but anyhow it is also a metal. So I can say between the sheath and conductor also there is some insulation, therefore there can also be some what can be capacitance can be there between conductor and sheath also, because assuming that the sheath is a metallic sheath. Okay, so let me draw that metallic sheath also. So assuming that metallic sheath is now with red color, so around the 3 cores of cable we are having a sheath like this. So between the conductor and cable also there will be some sheath resistance, sheath capacitance, conductor and sheath. Let us say this sheath capacitance is Cs, Cs and Cs. So this is the equivalent capacitance diagram in a, what do you say, a 3-core cable basically. Now you see at this center the 3 Cc's are in the form of a delta. Can we convert a delta capacitance into star? Yes, like this, in this way, isn't it? We can convert this all capacitors into delta capacitors. Then what will be, let us say this center point is a neutral point. So what will be each capacitance value equal to in the star? So let us say C equivalent. So when you are converting 3 equal capacitors into C equivalent or equivalent capacitor, that will be equal to 3 times of Cc, isn't it? So C equivalent will be equal to 3 times of Cc, and the capacitance to neutral will be equal to C equivalent plus Cs, because assuming that neutral is at 0 volts potential and C is also at 0 volts potential, then the Cs and C equivalent both will be in parallel. When capacitors are in parallel, you can add them up simply. So capacitance to neutral will be equal to C equivalent plus Cs. I can also write Cn is equal to 3 times of capacitance between 2 cores plus sheath capacitance. Okay, please note down all these formulas, all are important. So in order to find out what is the charging current flowing in the capacitor, charging current will be equal to voltage into omega C. and what is this omega? This is Cn. Okay, so charging current per phase will be given by this relation. Okay, in a capacitor you have to table as described earlier in this diagram. I will rewrite this in this form. Let us say the conductors are, this three conductors are there, so the capacitance between the conductors is like this, isn't it? Cc, and this is Cc, and then this is Cc, isn't it? Cc, Cc, and Cc, and all the three conductors are connected to sheath, and sheath is grounded, is what said in the question. So let us say this is the sheath point, and sheath is connected to ground. Okay, and this is the sheath capacitance, and this is also sheath capacitance, Cs, Cs, Cs. Understood? So from this I can make another equivalent circuit diagram, okay, between this neutral point or sheath to conductor. Let us say this conductor A. So between conductor A and between sheath there is already Cs is there. So if I convert the outer delta into star, the other star will be converted into C equivalent will be there. If you are converting delta into star, C equivalent will come in parallel with Cs, isn't it? And simultaneously for each phase it happens in the same way. Okay, so the capacitance from A to neutral, that is Cn, will be equal to Cs plus 3C C, isn't it? This will be the capacitance to neutral. This will be the value of the capacitance to neutral. So what is the value of capacitance between two conductors? Capacitance between, let us say, A and B conductors. Say this is A and B conductors. Capacitance between A and B conductors will be nothing but Cn by 2, isn't it? Because this whole is Cn and two capacitors are connected in series, means it will be like parallel resistors formula, you know. So capacitance to neutral will be half the capacitance between the two lines or two cores. So from this he is asking you to find the phase capacitance. He has given the capacitance between the two phases. So Cn will be equal to 2 times of CAB, and 2 times of 3 microfarads will be equal to 6 microfarad is the answer. So option C is the answer, and this is 3 microfarad in the question. Okay, there was a mistake over here. Okay, so I told you the capacitance between the two conductors is 1 microfarad. Okay, so that needlessly you need not take Cc only. So finally you can come up with this conclusion. You can remember this formula. Okay, so the capacitance between a phase capacitance or line capacitance will be equal to the 2 times of the phase capacitance. Like this you can remember this formula and solve this. In a 3-core cable, the capacitance between two conductors is 3 microfarad. What will be the capacitance per phase? So the same question is being asked here. Transmission line has a reactance of 3% resistance, has a line resistance of 3% and 5% inductive reactance. Percentage regulation at full load and pointed power factor. See, percentage regulation at full load is given by percentage R cos phi minus, at leading power factor means you have to take minus, lagging means you have to take plus sin phi. So percentage R is 3 into cos phi is 0.8 minus percentage X is 5 into sin is 0.6, and if you do this 3 into 0.8 minus 0.6 into 5, this ultimately give you minus 0.6. Option C is the answer. Charging capacitance of a 10-kilometer line is 500 ohms. If the length is doubled, then the charging reactance in ohms will be. Charging reactance is nothing but capacitive reactance. So capacitive reactance is inversely proportional to length of the line. Why? Because the value of capacitance is directly proportional to length of the line. Value of capacitance is directly proportional to the length of the line. Capacitive reactance is 1 by omega c. That means capacitive reactance will be 1 by L, inversely proportional to the line. So for 10-kilometer line it is 500 ohms. That means you are doubling. 10-kilometer line it is 500 ohms. Now if the line length is doubled, it means it made 20 kilometer, increased by 2 times, then capacitive reactance will decrease by 2 times. So 500 by 2 is equal to 250. So option D is the answer for this question. Insulation resistance of a cable is of a 10 kilometer is 1 mega ohm for 100 kilometer length, the same cable insulation resistance is, see, length is increased by 10 times, so insulation should decrease by 10 times, so 1 by 10 is 0.1 mega ohms. Option C is the right answer. Material commonly used for insulation of high voltage cables is, for insulation of high voltage cables, generally the material used is oil impregnated paper. Insulation breakdown of a cable can be avoided economically by use of intersheath and insulating materials with different relative permittivities. Okay, so using insulating material with different permittivities is also called as capacitive grading method. Okay, capacitive grading method. Operating voltage of supertension cable is up to, you see, classification of voltage rating of the cable. See, low tension cable is up to 1 kV, high tension is up to 11 kV, super tension is up to 33 kV, EHT is above 33 kV, extra super voltage above 132 kV. You have to remember this value is very much important. Which of the following protects the cable against external injury? Armoring will protect against external injury. So this is the basic construction of a cable. So cable at the inner you will be having the conductor. This is also called as core, and basically conductor may be made of annealed copper, is generally made of annealed copper preferably, and insulation may be any paper insulation or impregnated paper, or it may also be PVC. Anything may be the insulation above the conductor. So just above the insulation you have lead sheet. Lead sheet may be metallic or non-metallic. If it is metallic, then generally aluminum will be used. If it is non-metallic, then lead sheath will be used. The main purpose of lead sheath, okay, is to avoid entry of moisture. Okay, this purpose is very important. So to prevent entry of moisture into the cable, what is used? Lead sheath will be used. Okay, and next one is bedding. In order to prevent, if metallic sheath is used, if aluminum is used as sheath, then bedding will be used. So to prevent corrosion of aluminum sheath, bedding will be used. So bedding will be made of soft materials like fiber, jute, etc. And above bedding you have armoring. Armoring is made up of steel wires or steel tapes. So this is to provide mechanical support or mechanical strength and prevent from mechanical injuries to the whole cable. And above armoring you have a black color serving, which is again a soft material, and the material of serving is same as that of bedding. Okay, these things you can remember. And three insulating materials with same maximum working stress and permittivities, so and so as described, are used in a single core cable. The location of materials with respect to core of the cable. See, this is called capacitance grading method. In this method what happens, see, around the conductor you will have a layer of insulation thickness, and we have already seen that, okay, from the radius of the conductor to the end of the insulation, the potential stress is decreasing gradually, hyperbolical, in a hyperbolic fashion it is decreasing. That means the insulation, part of insulation near to the capacitor is getting more stressed, and away from the insulator is getting, away from the core is getting less stressed. That means you are uneconomically using the entire available capacitance. This is like improving string efficiency. So what we will do is, we will divide this entire thickness of insulation into different layers of different permittivities, and high insulation resistance or high dielectric strength material will be placed close to the conductor, and as you go away the dielectric strength will be decreasing. Dielectric strength is always directly proportional to the relative permittivity. Therefore the one which is having high relative permittivity should be near to the core. Understood? So option B will be the answer for this question. Effect of bonding in the cable is to increase the effective resistance and inductance. Okay, so it's not increase the effective resistance, and yes, it is right. So this bonding is a method which is not basically given in our syllabus, but let me explain you what is bonding means. Basically this bonding is used when metallic sheaths are used. Metallic sheath means aluminum. So if number of cables are there, basically this is used in three-phase cables only. In three-phase cables, each cable will be having, or for each core will be having its own metallic sheath, and all these metallic sheaths are interconnected, okay, to reduce the what is called as eddy current losses. So this is the topic beyond our scope of discussion, but just remember the answer, that is enough. Okay. Under voltage stress will be maximum at underground cable, where it will be maximum on the surface of the conductor. Okay, at the surface of the sheath it will be minimum. Okay, so these are the basically probable types of model. Of course